Network Entertainment.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to you.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Adam!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You're listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan, Hero, Moran, and Emil Nate checking in on an audio-only Picks of the Week special to kick off your week in wrestling. And we have a lot to talk about, as always. Hindi tayo tulad ni Cody Rhodes na tatanungin what you want to talk about because we've got some big news coming out of the weekend. And of course, we have our Picks of the Week. All of that part of this week's episode. We also have some special ganap happening this week kasi sa December 21 on a Thursday, we're going to be doing our live stream sa TPN mismo at the Pod Network offices. Emil will try his best to dial in, and if technology is great, the absent ka na lang, Emil. Kakaltasan ka na lang namin.
Yeah, but I'll really try to be there, at least virtually. Say, it's one of the last recordings of the year, so I feel like I can't miss it. Diba?
Yeah. Huling hirit ng mga Christmas ganap. So can't wait for our 1 week of rest before it's January 2024 all of a sudden now. It's like it's just another week. It's just another 7 days.
Yeah.
It do be like that, especially with all of the stress that we take on and put on our respective plates. But yeah, lots for you to look forward to pa rin from the podcast. We've got our year-end awards and we've got our LA Night Christmas raffle still ongoing. We're going to be drawing the winner on Thursday, December 21. May chance pa kayong bumili ng raffle tickets. 100 pesos lang siya, guys, for one raffle ticket. And then if you're a patron, you get 2 tickets for the price of 1. Again, it's 100 pesos. Inside the LA Night gift pack, you get an LA Night t-shirt, LA Night wristbands, and an LA Night beanie. All of them authentic and purchased from wweshop.com. All right, so go ahead and sign up now at tinyurl.com/WWP Christmas raffle. Again,
I'm gonna explain the odds really quickly. Right now, it's kind of sad to say that we only have like 3 entrants as of this recording time. So that's less than 10 entrants. So if you come in, you buy a lot of entries, let's say 5 or more, you automatically have a really good chance of winning the whole pack for a fraction of its entire price. Legit merch. We got it from our Pasabay runs. And if a lot of you are listening to this now and do it at the same time, it's gonna make it a little more hard. But you never know. You never know what the odds are, especially now the konti pa. So take advantage of it.
Like Scott Steiner said, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie.
All right, so go ahead and sign up now for a raffle ticket at tinyurl.com/WWP Christmas raffle. I know a lot of you like your LA Night merch. You love your LA Night. So this is your one chance to actually get LA Night merch for a fraction of the price that you can get it at wweshop.com. Yeah. All right. Let's get to some weekend reactions. Ang dami nating pag-uusapan. We got to start with something positive. Sige, Emil. Good call that you wanted to start with a return instead of people getting taken.
Yeah, and last SmackDown on Friday, AJ Styles made his return. It's been rumored for a while. Like he's been actually. I don't think he wasn't injured naman, diba? He was just
he wasn't injured. He was
he was just shelved.
He was the elf on the shelf.
Yeah, kasi like they were saved. I think they were I think at that point they're trying to save Roman versus AJ for a bigger.
Hindi, gusto niya palaki ng katawan eh.
Yeah.
He asked for time off.
Looks like a real zaddy.
Yeah, like ang akala ko dati yun yung plan sila, but he returned and he went after the bloodline, but at the end of the show he shocked us all by going after turning heel and going after LA Knight. So this is a shocking return. Not a shock na bumalik siya, but shock in terms of how he looks. A lot of people have made comments about it online of how he looks, and he turned heel immediately. Where I thought he could still go after Roman before before Cody versus Roman. Pero
you have to remember what he was doing right before he got taken out. Yeah. He was in the middle of turning heel. He was getting angry at the bloodline. He was getting angry at his own boys, diba? Hindi sila binabackupan ni Carl tsaka ni Luke and Michin. So I remember that guy had a bone to pick, a chip on his shoulder. Tapos I can write the story na LA Knight didn't really back him up when he got taken out by the bloodline. He swooped in and got the clout from teaming with John Cena, diba? So that guy has every right to be mad. So it's when you remember those factors, it's not a big shock na like heel turn siya. It's shocking because it's been a while since we last saw him. It has been a couple of months, diba? But it's nice because I think this is then the SmackDown version of what they're doing with Drew. This is another person who's been affected by the bloodline, and because of that, because nagipit siya, he snapped again, and now he's taking it out on other people who are not the bloodline.
Yeah, you also kind of need another main event heel on SmackDown outside of Roman Reigns and the bloodline, because you have Randy Orton, who's a main event babyface, so you kind of have to counteract that with another heel, since everyone else is still kind of hovering around the mid-card scene. So I kind of see how it makes sense as well.
Yeah. Also, let's address the syringe-shaped elephant in the room. People are Randy Orton and AJ Styles came back. Sumaki sila. People immediately think they're on steroids, but a lot of these people. I've even seen some people in the wrestling industry who think that AJ Styles at least was on the juice because it's AJ. But he's had like 2 or 3 months off. He took time off. That's enough time to get into a really good nutrition plan, meal plan. Tapos, you got a lot of time to get in the gym and really focus on your workout, on your workout plans. So, hindi malayo na lumaki siya and he got in better shape because he's not dealing with the stresses of traveling so much and, missing out on all the food, right? A lot of people, when they stay home, it means much better time for them to just go in the gym and get their health right. So lalo na si Randy Orton, he was on the shelf for 18 months. Of course that guy has the time to get big. So it's so lazy for people to accuse another athlete or pro athlete with pro athlete resources of going the lazy route and taking steroids. It's not that easy, and it's not always that bad faith. It's just annoying because that kind of stuff, that kind of accusation, it's gonna ruin a career. Lalo na may wellness policy sa kumpanya, diba? So it's maybe you're doing it for the laughs, maybe you're doing it for the jokes, but it's really it's doable in a challenging sense, but it's doable.
Yeah, so these are people who talagang alagang-alaga nila yung mga katawan nila. Especially if they take some time off, they can really focus in and make sure to get their bodies right, to get. Saka halos lahat ng mga bumabalik, ganun nangyari. They always bulk up. Like I remember when Dean Ambrose came back.
Yeah.
Like
from the rehab, diba?
Yeah, like he looked bigger, diba? And also when Triple H came back, in the many times that he came back, he always looks bigger and always looks a little bit buff than when he left. So may mga ganun talaga, and not everything is it's a very lazy answer na he's on the juice.
Yeah, kasi yung stigma ng wrestler.
Yeah,
kasi,
that's the stigma
80s,
of
90s, and thanks Hulk, thanks Billy Graham for mainstreaming steroids, diba? But si Maven niya, kinuwento niya, kahit siya, kinailangan niya. But, you know, it's possible, yes, but it's also a lot more doable to do it the clean way. And parang ang sad naman na kailangang isipin mo that kami nagbabulk up after a long while nagsisteroids.
Yeah, you know, so many examples nga, no? See, Edge is another person I want to bring up because remember, towards the end of his first run in WWE, diba? A lot of people were kind of clowning Edge for not exactly being well-defined na yung kanyang physique. And then when, you know, he was gone for 9 years and then he came back, people were so surprised now, whoa, look at this guy with this 8-pack and everything. So it's the time away from the road, the time away from the business that really allows these wrestlers to achieve peak physique.
Oh, I mean, imagine what we could do with all this time to ourselves, you know. It's not like they have a day job, diba? Na they have to get paid, they have to work in the office for 8 hours to get paid. No, they got they got pro athlete salaries, they got pro athlete connections, they got all that stuff that they can spend money on. And when you have that, you do have an advantage over you know, regular weekenders like you and I.
Yeah. So stop it with the jokes. I mean, yeah, sure, get your ha-has in, but let's be real here. Randy Orton and AJ Styles, not yan. So let's put some respect on their name.
Tsaka, ano, yes, it's easy to look at a bulked physique and say, oh, you know, something happened. But we gotta, you know, you have to compare it to the physiques of 20 years ago. Like Eddie, it only recently dawned on me that Eddie wasn't that deep. So yung mga exage na but almost bodybuilder levels, that's what you should be looking at. But AJ Styles just packed on a few more pounds, you know, a few more, grew that python a few more inches, or maybe a couple of inches. Randy Orton, di nga siya, ano, super batak. You know, he's bulked, but he also has a little bit of a belly. So you know that it's not all cheated, diba?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to appreciate yung pandesal nila, go appreciate the pandesal. No one's going to judge you. I appreciate the hell out of them being zaddies now. So, you know, I could only wish to look half as good as them when I'm their age. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some bad news, mga injuries that have accumulated over the last couple of days across both major companies. We're going to start with Kenny Omega from AEW because it was reported over the weekend he is out with diverticulitis, which I will forever associate with Brock Lesnar. But apparently, he's been ill with diverticulitis for quite some time. Tapos hindi nalaman na lang talaga nila nung taping where he had that horrible Golden Jets and Ricky Starks and Big Bill promo. But before that, it was reported by sina Sean Ross Sapp na iniinda na talaga ni Kenny Omega itong injury na to. As it stands, yung mga sabi-sabi ng mga reporters is walang timetable for his return. And obviously, he's been removed from all of the immediate creative plans for AEW. So it leaves Ricky Starks and Big Bill with no number one contender for World's End, Chris Jericho without a partner to have a horrible promo exchange with, and all of us with one less Kenny Omega to watch on TV.
Yeah, it's the second time that this happened to Ricky. But at least, ngayon it's, you know, something beyond their control talaga. Yeah, it sucks. I kind of wish that they spotted it right away because, you know, we could have been spared from the whole atrocious segment that happened last week. And, you know, syempre, I'm guessing that explains why Kenny was so off his game nung segment na yun. It's sad. I hope that Kenny gets better. Syempre, diverticulitis is nothing to joke about. It's also really bad faith for people to come at Kenny kasi, you know, and say that it was karma for the diverticulitis joke that was on Fight Forever, diba? Inahuna nga ni Excalibur yun, diba? So why does Kenny have to take the karma for Excalibur? Diba? That's not fair. And the guy is already injured, diba? There's no need to pin that on him, diba? Hindi naman siya nagnakaw ng 13 billion or whatever. What was I gonna say? Yeah. For the tag title scene, you already have something cooking with House of Black and FTR. Might as well just stick them in the tag title match, or, you know, just not have a tag title match at all. I mean, you can. It's one last match for the card, which I assume Tony Khan will start loading this coming week, diba? Kasi malapit na, or in the next couple of episodes of all the shows that he has. So let's leave it off. I know there's enough time to put something on to build a story. That's what Tony Khan does best, but it's also a good idea to just, you know, let it be.
So when he tweeted out that he's injured, he didn't really specifically say what it was at the beginning. So I was awake when he tweeted this, and I know it was something. It was not an injury. It's a bone or a muscle because there was a line there. Like he was glad the doctors caught it right away. So I thought, oh man, this is bahano to. It's not some. It's not. It's not as simple as any injury. So yung pala he had the diverticulitis, and yeah, I hope he gets well. And this just makes me kind of sad that we will. I think the Young Bucks are out as well for a while, so we won't get the Elite in AEW for I don't know for months. So that's kind of sad, and it also kind of sad. I think papalapit na tayo sa point na Kenny will have to retire full time. Even nung at the beginning of the year kasi di ko pa siya naisip. Okay, Kenny still has 5-7 years, but nagpa-pile up na yung injuries niya from all the years of going so hard. And that's why I think people has got to appreciate Kenny Omega while he can still go, because I feel like he's gonna retire sooner rather than later. I feel my opinion.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate kung anong gagawin ni Kenny Omega at this point in his career. I don't want to put some words out there na pag nagkatotoo we'll be like regretting it and all of that. But I just want to wish Kenny Omega well. I just hope na hindi sobrang grabe tong injury na to and that he's able to bounce back. But as it stands, we're probably not going to see Kenny on TV or in the ring for a good 6 months at the very least. So that's gotta suck. But that's the injury bug. Diba? When it takes you out, it takes you out. Kind of like Charlotte Flair, who we found out is also going to be out of action for a minimum of 6 months, maybe as much as 9 months because of a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus. Tanginang combo yan, diba? I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've had a meniscus tear. That was a bitch in and of itself. So pag kinomo pa with an ACL and MCL, that road to recovery is going to look pretty long for the 14-time world champion.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you tore a meniscus.
Yeah.
But apparently this is a thing that happens to everyone now. I mean, not just athletes. It sucks. But I think we're all just waiting for the day we tear our ligaments and knees. And I say that, really grimly. I joke about that in a grim way. It all comes to us, especially I'm an athlete and it hasn't happened to me yet. So it's sad. This is the reality now. I say that because it's the reality now. Whether you're an athlete or not, you tear the knee, and it's more likely when you are out there in the ring, putting pressure on it, right? Working on it, moving on it, and as you said before that, it's an injury bug. Once it gets you, and it's sad. It's unfortunate lang kasi it's another one of those things na it comes after a relatively recent absence for Charlotte. So parang start and stop na naman siya. But I think she's also reached the point now. Okay, she's okay naman. She's well enshrined in the pantheon of elite women's athletes in the company, right, in their division. So okay lang. Maybe they'll use this time to find a story for her that doesn't involve the championship, although we know now when she comes back it's going to be for the championship. So yeah, get well soon, Charlotte. Pagsisilbahan ka ni Andrade sa bahay.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte came back for the 2025 Royal Rumble kasi diba, the timetable kind of lines up. It'll be a year by then. With this injury, I don't know if you guys saw the video kasi may nag-surface na video of Asuka and Charlotte during their match nung tribute to the troops. Dun daw na injure si Charlotte, and if yun nga talaga yung spot na yun nung sumemplang yung tuhod niya dun sa top rope, then it looked pretty gnarly and she did need help visibly as she exited the ring following that match.
Yeah, it's an accident. Talagang nangyayari. If for those of you who've been watching wrestling long enough, sometimes it's no one's fault, but the fault of physics, unfortunately.
Yeah, and sobrang like over the years, sobrang nasanay na ako with the term torn ACL na okay, like yung lagi ko inisip, okay, they'll be back in 6 months, and then but the recovery for a torn ACL, a torn MCL, it's not a joke, and it's
yeah.
I hope she gets back to the ring. She gets back to the ring, continue what she does best. Yeah, it's just sucks. Torn throwing everything on the knee. She got the basically the Derrick Rose combo here with the amount of injuries that she suffered on that one spot. So again, hope she recovers and sayang lang because I think may papupuntahan na yung damage control storyline. I really want Charlotte to be involved in. Pero she's gonna be out and I hope she can recover. She can recover well and she can recover on time for the 2025 Royal Rumble. I guess.
Pampalubag loob na lang na we live in a world where that injury isn't a career killer necessarily anymore. Kasi if it happened in the 80s, diba, like with what happened to the Von Erichs, rest in peace, wala na, tapos na yung career mo.
Yeah.
So at least with medical advancements and the right physical therapy and sports science in 2023, soon to be 2024, we're probably going to see Charlotte back again by next year or in 2025. So yan.
Yeah, she gets to rest. Yeah, she gets to rest. It's painful, but she gets to rest. That's always a good thing.
Yep. So good juju going out to both Kenny Omega and Charlotte. Love the Wrestling podcast. Last bit of news we got to react to. Merong mga bulung-bulungan, haka-haka over wrestling Twitter na Kazuchika Okada is reportedly not staying in New Japan after his contract ends. It was one of those Twitter accounts, si Wrestle Purists ba yun? Or one of those Twitter accounts.
Si Cultaholics.
Yun, Cultaholic. Na laging may scoop whenever a big name wrestler is about to make a move. So kung totoo nga, Okada is not staying in New Japan after his contract ends, which is right around Wrestle Kingdom season in the next couple of weeks or so. Where does he go from here?
It's funny. I saw this a report. I don't know kung totoo kasi it's one of those Facebook reposts and Fightful has been debunking a lot of those yung mga claims ng mga different fan pages, the fucking annoying Facebook fan pages. They said, and they quote that Cultaholic apparently reported this, na WWE is not interested in Okada. And I find that really hard to believe because I don't think Triple H, this is a guy who signed Kushida, and Kushida is not a bigger star than Okada, diba? Even though Kushida is pretty good. I don't believe for 1 second that Triple H would not want to go after Okada. This is one of the top Japanese wrestlers in the country and in the world. He signed Kushida, he signed Nakamura. So he fucking signed Ike Manjiro. Ike Manjiro is not a big star. I love the guy, but he's not a big star. So how would you pass up Okada and say that you don't have interest in him? Now, I don't believe that one bit. So just in case any of you found that report, diba, and are thinking of believing that, I don't buy that a single cent of it. I do want him to be on WWE. AEW is much more obvious kasi meron na siyang experience doon. I don't know if he likes the way Tony Khan has run the show. It's also possible that Nakamura would tell him to come to WWE, although I'm not sure as well how happy Nakamura is. But, it seems that he's happy just to be getting WWE money. So there's that. But I mean, different factors. I want to see WWE try to utilize him and see if Triple H can do right one last time to a big NJPW star after Vince failed Nakamura. So I want that. I think Triple H is going to go after that, especially after they let Ospreay go, after Ospreay slid from their hand. So makita yan. Marunong naman mag-English na Okada. So he'll be like a Nakamura who isn't, unable to communicate with the American crowd. So I want to see that. Let's fucking stack the WWE roster even more.
Yeah, it's a question for you guys before you get your answer, Emil. Would you want to see Nakamura and Okada reunited as a tag team dito sa WWE?
Sure. Yeah. They have the aura, as the kids say nowadays. So I want to see that happen.
Plus, they reunited ngayong Bullet Club sa WWE. So why can't they reunite the Chaos Duo in WWE as well? So why not? As far as the Okada to WWE, I would very much like to see that. Kasi nakita rin natin si Okada sa AEW eh. And I think if he went to AEW, it's gonna pretty much be kind of the same thing that he was doing before because of, again, the relationship. So, but mas madaming challenges if he would go to WWE. And mas madaming fresh matchups for him to to go through if he went to WWE. And again, this would be a test for Triple H to see if he can actually make Okada be the star that he is in Japan in WWE. Plus, like nakita na din natin, WWE is already expanding their PLEs to other countries. So getting international stars, that's gonna be a benefit for them. Like if they, di ba, baka bali natin one day mag PLE sila sa Japan. So if they have Okada and Nakamura in there, I think that's a big draw for them.
Yeah. I mean, imagine Elimination Chamber in Perth, diba? So relatively close to our side of the world, tapos bilang may Okada na magpapakita. That would be wild. That would be great, diba? All right, so that's it for reactions to big stuff that happened over the weekend. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get you through our picks of the week. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network. Let's get to our picks of the week, and we're going to start with Chino's pick, which would have also been my pick, pero naunahan niya ako. But he's not here, so I'll get to talk about it more. The CM Punk and Seth Rollins promo from last week's Raw was hella good. Sabi ni Chino, it was refreshing to see CM Punk open with what he thought was an explanation and an apology to the fans. We talked about this last week on the podcast. Hindi pa siya buo, hindi pa siya hinog na explanation, kulang-kulang pa, di ba? Medyo half-assed pa na apology kasi hindi pa niya ina-explain talaga why he swallowed his pride and came crawling back to WWE. So,
he did a IG live stream in which he talked about that, but he still talked about the fans. Parang, he still didn't quite say na, I swallowed my pride and everything. I want to change. I have one last shot. He just said, let's do it for the fans. So it's something, yes, but I still think it's not the explanation that I'm looking for. Because he's still kind of glossing over the elephants in the room, the ugly truth that's in the room with him. And maybe he doesn't have to. Sure, but again, like I mentioned before, people like Seth are always going to keep bringing it up. People like Seth and Drew, because it's there. You're not getting rid of it, so we'll use it.
Yeah, dapat i-acknowledge, diba? I mean, Drew McIntyre himself has used it na in his own promo, saying that guy's going to ruin the company from the inside out, and this guy is a heel, si Drew. But going back to Seth here, he basically called CM Punk out, diba, as a hypocrite, and then sinabi niya na sabi ni Chino na Seth is kind of calling back to his past gimmick as the Monday Night Raw locker room leader, which we kind of missed. But yeah, that was a nice reference. That did happen in Seth's history right after he turned heel in 2019. So it's nice na you have this layer of Seth Rollins being the one to alienate CM Punk, which Punk himself also acknowledges in his own promos. Sabi ni Chino, he doesn't know who to cheer at this point because they have their respective pros and cons. And then sabi niya, he sees it being like a campaign each week with either wrestler trying to convince us who's worse. And I actually don't mind that. Kasi nga, diba, we talked about this last week, sabi ko na they just exist in a vacuum as these layered characters who transcend the binary face-heel alignments. So, earned na rin given their lore, diba? Given their standing in WWE. So it's good to see CM Punk being the voice of his, for lack of a better term, cult of diehard fans, and Seth Rollins being the voice of the thinking fan. Because Seth is the one who's saying all the quiet parts out loud.
Yeah. We talked about this already. I agree naman why it's compelling. It's definitely a lot more compelling than the past two promos that Punk did, diba? Including the Love Fest ng Deadline. Agree naman. It is a campaign to see who is worse, diba? I just don't believe that Punk is still the face here because he hasn't really owned up to it. Like that's what a face does. He should own up to it and exhibit growth, diba? It's one thing to say the things that would please the fans, diba? Because he's saying all that. Diba? He's saying I came back for you. I'm sorry I left you. We'll do this together. But all of that is also still escaping yung self-accountability. Diba? That's the thing that the character needs. Like, I don't think that the voice of the voiceless would be compromised if he showed some self-awareness, some growth, some acknowledgement of the kind of person he is. And I think as long as they don't address that again, sorry, I'm gonna keep repeating this. It's not fully face yet, and again, it's gonna be okay for the cult, but if you really want to position him and do right by the history books, then I think you gotta confront this head on.
Yeah, again, we pag-usapan natin.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Sige. Na. Oh, you were saying something?
No. I mean, I'm just agreeing with you na pag-usapan na natin. So
Yeah. And again, I agree with everyone's points here. Ang ano ko lang, yung sa campaign, yung sa campaign each week, like, I want them to have, kasi malayo pa yung main niya. So, I want them to have limited interactions, but every week, so yung kung sino yung magpo-promo would always take a pot shot on the other, just to keep it going. But I want them to not have every face-to-face promo each week kasi madaling maumay yung mga tao. So just like we had the first salvo, then they should like bitinin nila tayo para mas excited pa tayo heading towards WrestleMania.
All right. Let's move on to my pick from last week's NXT North American Championship match between Dragon Lee and Tyler Bate. So Dragon Lee has taken up Wesley's mantle as the fighting and defending North American champion, where laging may open challenge each week. So this week's si Tyler Bate yung lumabas. And I think with Dragon Lee as North American champion, what they're doing here is they're re-establishing this mid-card division of hyper-athletic contests. Kasi medyo nawala siya with Dom having been the North American champion. Kasi heel siya, di ba? Natural, ayaw niya mag-defend. So medyo nawala yun. And with Dragon Lee and Tyler Bate getting the time to cook, ito na, we're bringing it back with the babyface champion. What Wesley used to do with all of his title defenses. It's kind of bringing back the spirit of old NXT, Black and Gold NXT, which I love. And while I really enjoyed this match, I did have some questions coming out of it. One being, ano na yung ceiling ni Tyler Bate? Ito na ba, has he hit his ceiling? Kasi I don't know where Tyler Bate goes from here. Na he'll always be in the running for some mid-card championship and then he'll come up short. And for some reason, hindi rin siya in line, based on what we're seeing on TV, for like a main roster call-up. So what's gonna happen with the big strong boy? And then for Dragon Lee naman, full-time SmackDown guy na siya, diba? He's a main roster guy, wins the North American Championship, and then he didn't appear on SmackDown over the weekend. Tapos ngayon, he's doing the same thing Wesley did. So, paano yun? Bumalik siyang NXT, full-time NXT na siya ulit. So, yun lang, just a couple of questions that came out of a really fun match na I really enjoyed in a vacuum.
Yeah. One of those things na talagang masaya. I think the ceiling for Tyler Bate right now feels like he's being one of the, I don't know kung totoo, but he's just one of those veteran presences in the company right now in NXT. Kasi Noam Dar is actually serving the same purpose right now. It feels like Triple H or someone doesn't really see Tyler Bate as someone who could hang, or not hang, but could fit rather in the main roster right now. Kasi Tyler Bate was so pushed as a top guy in NXT UK, and then not so much now in NXT. So I feel like, I don't know why. I don't know who he's pissed off as well, but it feels like he's just there to, boost yung profile and credibility, yung veteran talent ng NXT right now, 3.0. But it was a good match. Great stuff. Nothing more to say about that. It is a pretty exciting match. Tyler Bate matches are always good, especially with Dragon Lee. Kataon lang na it's something to keep him in the mix and, keep up the good match quotient of NXT broadcasts every week.
Speaking with Tyler Bate, he has been in NXT now for 5-6 years, and kung sa college siya, overstaying na siya. 65 4 years or 5 years lang, 6 years na. I really want him to move up na, si Tyler Bate. It's time. I mean, especially with the main roster being under Triple H, I think he would fare much better rather than if he was called up before, nung under Vince pa. And I feel like he's heading towards there kasi there's just yung storyline di ba ni Butch right now is iniwanan siya ni Ridge Holland. Diba? So that might be a slot there. Reunite the British Strong Style, the 2/3 of the British Strong Style with Pete Dunne. So, or Butch.
Yeah. Ro, kanina, you wanted to talk about something, and then we just remembered it as Emil mentioned.
No. Let's save it for the live stream. It is
Alright.
pretty substantial, so hindi naman siya big deal then. But it will only happen tomorrow, on Wednesday Manila time. So,
so it's Ridge related.
Yeah. It's
okay.
related to the NXT tapings.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, I understood with the
Ito na, if listener ka, tapos na-gets mo rin, ang sasabihin ko lang is, bilang hindi ako wrestler, di na lang ako mag-talk sa pag-wrestler na ibang tao.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Let's get the Rose pick from Dynamite. Winter is coming.
Yeah, the Continental Classic cheat code continues. As long as the Continental Classic is happening, I will likely be picking a match from it because it's really that good. Everyone is going balls to the wall with this. Kahit alam nilang hindi sila mananalo, like, you know, if you're a Daniel Garcia or a Jay Lethal of the world, there's always something to prove when you have a good showing in the Continental Classic. So it makes for a lot of good matches. It makes all the tournament matches a big deal. So, medyo nasasapawan ng Continental Classic yung a lot of other stories in AEW right now, but it does make it worth it. The match quality does make it worth it. And the way they've been able to tell the stories of each division, of each league, pretty good. So if you were worried about how you were going to follow a round robin tournament, the logic and the narrative direction is pretty easy to follow, especially if you are a sports fan in general. They don't make it hard to grasp. Anyway, all of that is to say that this week's, or last week's rather, Gold League main event between Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland was super good. The story is simple. Swerve was trying to stay on top of the Gold League while Mox was also trying to, para sila undefeated at that point. Para sila undefeated at that point, and one of them had to give up the streak. And it's just so good. You can feel the tension. You can feel the desperation of them, both guys wanting to be the sole undefeated guy in their league. Kasi syempre, you come into the last two weeks of the Continental Classic with a big advantage if you can stay undefeated. And for those who want Swerve to win, him losing in a really, really, really close fashion, Jon Moxley tells a good story of having to cheat a little bit to beat Swerve. Kasi Swerve kept kicking out of everything that he was throwing, diba? And Mox was also kicking out of everything Swerve was throwing. So you can really feel yung never say die attitude the never say die atmosphere of this particular matchup. So it makes, for those people who want Swerve to win, it makes it really more compelling. Because now you want to know, how does Swerve get back on top, and how does Swerve make it back to the semifinals and get to the finals? Especially, it feels like he's the favorite after that big Hangman versus Swerve match, diba? So a lot of good stuff. And sometimes nakakaumay when a round robin tournament, specifically the G-Max, the G1 Climax rather, does a lot of big matchups every week, almost every day. They put on a tournament match, but this one felt like it was sufficiently exceeding yung normal baseline of good matches, of good match quality in the Continental Classic. So it was transcendent, and it adds a little bit more to the legend of Swerve Strickland, even though he didn't win.
Question, guys. Face na ba si Swerve at this point?
No, I don't think he's a face. He's a dick. Yeah. He's very clearly a dick.
But he's also very clearly over.
Yeah.
He's popular,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, he's popular.
Kasi heel pa din siya for me. Yeah. That's main event, was I like the finish especially. Now it was kind of out of nowhere. Now because Swerve has become a force, now Mox had to rely on pulling the tights to win the match. I mean, it speaks volumes to how dominant Swerve has been in this tournament. And it's also, if sila yung maghaharap sa semis, I think sila talaga maghaharap sa semis. There's an added edge for Swerve to go over Mox kasi tinalo nga siya ni Mox dun sa preliminary round. So Mox is already, as of this moment, may ano na siya. He's already in the semis. Swerve still has to win his final, and I think, does he have the tiebreaker over Jay? I think he has, no?
What do you mean?
The tiebreaker over Jay White. Or, di pa sino yung kalaban, sino yung huling kalaban ni Swerve?
I forgot. No. Before that?
No, this week, there's a next week. It's sino yung huling kalaban?
I don't know who Swerve is facing this week.
Yeah, but I guess Swerve is a win.
Yeah, probably Jay. I haven't seen him face Jay yet.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So that's
Jay White,
probably,
rather.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, we already got the first taste of Mox versus Strickland. I feel like we're still gonna get it at the semifinals of this.
Wait, meron na. Swerve has beaten Jay White.
Oh, so he has
yeah,
over
right,
Jay.
right,
Okay, so so also a win and in for Swerve. So I feel sila yung maghaharap, and we're gonna get this again.
All right. So we're down to the last few matches na lang ng elimination phase of the Continental Classic. So God bless this tournament. God bless everybody who's been a part of it. Na-enjoy ko rin all of the many storylines, from the obvious na who's gonna come out to things like what they're fighting for, diba? Eddie Kingston and yung added gigil niya because he's about to lose the things that are most important to him. Daniel Garcia with something to prove. Si Swerve nga trying to capitalize on the momentum he's built, and then Mox showing a bit of desperation here. Even si Claudio, how mid-tournament nagkaroon siya ng mini side quest na binayagan niya si Andrade for what he did to Bryan in the previous collision. So that was pretty fun. I'm really loving all of the nuggets that we're getting out of this Continental Classic. All right, we're going to close things out here with Emil's pick.
All right, so the last pick, my pick, it goes out to Rampage, and this was the insane trios action between Top Flight and Action Andretti versus the Luchadors, Penta, Miedo, Komander, and El Hijo del Vikingo. Again, just insanity. This was, I watched actually the entire match of hindi yung TV cut, so it was 20 minutes. 20 minutes of
it was pretty long.
20 minutes of insane luchador action. I actually thought at some point they already kind of went overboard with it. I was fine with it. I was fine with it. Especially there was a point there in the match where talagang they all did their spots on the apron. Like all 6 of them did a spot on the apron, and it was it's like the crash derby of wrestling, just demolition derby of wrestling. Just everyone getting their stuff in, everyone showing their skills and their talents, and like sometimes we need these kinds of matches. Not like I don't like if we're getting these matches every week, but when we're getting these matches once in a while, that's a sweet spot right there. And they definitely hit that sweet spot for me in Rampage. Now, made me watch Rampage because I know that these guys can go, and they went and they delivered this great match. Not super amazing match because I thought they went a little bit too long and a little bit overboard with it, but just a sweet spot for me. They really hit that for me.
Yeah, pretty fun. I was writing about this earlier today. I wrote about it because I saw it, I believe, the other night. It was fun. One thing first that you have to understand is this is a pure Lucha Libre match. Even though one half of the guys in the match were American, Lucha Libre talaga to. And it's that way because Tony Khan is a big Lucha Libre fan, and it's intentional. So if you are the type of person or the type of wrestling fan who wants all the dramatic, grounded stuff, the brawling stuff, the storytelling stuff, if you can't come to grips with the fact that this is Lucha Libre, then you should just skip it. Skip mo na lang. It's not for you. It really isn't for you because, as Emil said, it is pretty crazy. It does go overboard. And if you're not in the mindset for that kind of wrestling, it's only just going to piss you off. That said, they were good. It was good, but I found that it wasn't for me, which is weird because I like the Luchadors. I like these guys. I like Top Flight, but yun nga, Emil hit it on the head when he said, in some way, this was overboard. Parang it was definitely masturbatory Lucha Libre, which is totally fine because that's how Lucha Libre is. It is crazy, but I don't know. there's something about it now. If it's not in Mexico, if it's not in a purely lucha libre space, it feels weird. That's why people hate the Young Bucks. People think the Young Bucks are two flippy guys, which is in itself not wrong. It's just not, not the kind of wrestling that is for you. That's totally fine. So, kung gusto mo ng patay utak match na, it's fun to watch, go watch this. It's really good. The athleticism is off the chain, off the charts. It's just that it is really easy to get turned off by this. It's all I'm going to warn you.
All right. What happened after this match is Top Flight and Action Andretti have parlayed this into a challenge sa Acclaim for the Trios Championship next week on Collision. So, yun, kind of weird na, okay, this team na they've been wrestling on the smaller shows, struggling to get attention on Collision. Bigla na lang, okay, they pick up a win over Penta and Komander and Vikingo. Then yun na, we feel like we can challenge the Acclaimed now. And medyo sakto rin na pabalik ng Acclaimed after they got attacked by the Devil and his goons. So, I don't know. I don't know what happens to Top Flight and Action Andretti after this. I think they just go back to being yung American counterparts ng luchador so they can keep doing good lucha things together, I guess.
Yeah, and address naman ng Acclaim na, you are literally a side quest, so we'll take you on because they're fighting babyface champions. But you're right, it's just one of those flavors of the week. Because Tony Khan likes to do this. He likes to highlight hardworking wrestlers that doesn't always get highlighted, and then puts them on for a week. Then if they catch on after that, sa kanya bibigyan ng longer time in the spotlight. Diba? So I've come to accept, especially when you watch the smaller shows in tandem with the bigger shows, that this is how Tony Khan books his really deep bench. So it's totally fine. It's one of those things that you do have to come to accept if you are not an AEW fan, but a regular AEW watcher.
All right, Emil, did you want to talk about your bonus pick? We have a couple of minutes left here.
Yeah, okay. So a bonus pick, actually walang pick si Rowan this week, is the other Collision, other Continental Classic main event on Collision, which was Brody King versus Bryan Danielson. And I just want to say, God bless Bryan Danielson. God bless Bryan Danielson. That man has an orbital bone injury. Pero instead of parang ialagaan niya yun and making sure his opponents doesn't hit his eye, he wants them to go after his eye. So just not even 5 minutes into the match, sobrang duguan na yung mata ni Bryan. He can't even open it. Like he nakapikit for the entire match. And again, dati kasi di ko naabutan yung Bryan versus Morishima, but I feel like this is the closest thing I've seen to Bryan versus Morishima from days before. So I guess I give credit as well to Brody King kasi he really also brought his A game, and Bryan as well. Again, just God bless Bryan Danielson. This man has a January 4th Wrestle Kingdom main event na nag-aabang sa kanya, and he still, instead of taking care of himself, like coasting until then, he still goes out every week and basically do this for everyone and for everyone's entertainment. So I just want to say that.
To clarify the Morishima incident, that happened, the injury happened during the match. So na-detach yung retina niya during the match. So he had no choice but to keep going. This one is crazy. Huh?
Di ba kayfabe lang
I don't remember, but kayfabe or not, it happened during the match.
Yeah.
So, no, I thought it was real because I saw a picture of him after the match and medyo duguan yung mata niya.
Right. So in the years since, parang may reports or may stories either from Bryan himself or people close to the ROH of the time saying na it was a work, na parang part of the myth making ni Bryan Danielson.
Okay,
right.
Sure.
I don't know what to believe anymore at this point.
Yeah. This is crazier because he did get the injury. The injury is real, and he did get surgery on it, and he still wants people to work it. So that's crazy. I wanted to talk about this match not because of Bryan, because I already know, like everyone already knows how good Bryan is, but I want to, share how great Brody King really is. He's a bit unassuming as the non-Jack member of the House of Black, but he's so good.
Yeah, so
I feel like not the one that went into wrestling to replace Brody Lee, pero he fills the Brody Lee shape void in our hearts, because he similar gimmick, similar build, the big man for a supernatural faction.
Same name,
same style. So I think Tony Khan has a bit of lightning in the bottle with Brody King, and I feel like putting him in a singles tournament like this is a good idea. And after this, he should get a bigger push and not just be one of the guys to House of Black. So I want that to happen. He's really that good.
Baka kaya siya yung pambato ng House of Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's one of those things, but it could have been Malachi, could have been Buddy as well. So because they
Could
tried
it really
this,
have been Buddy? Really?
yeah, why not?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Would you have sent Sanjay Dutt in there when you had Jay Lethal or Jeff Jarrett?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I'm just saying Buddy could have also wrestled that good, diba? Hindi naman siya bano or anything. I'm just saying that they also did kind of fuck around with Brody here. So at this point, kung ganun din lang, let's give him a quick push because he is kind of breaking out here. All things considered.
Yep.
Yeah. Yun din, that's another good thing that we're seeing out of the Continental Classic. It's serving as a coming out party or a breaking out platform for stars like Brody King, diba? Daniel Garcia, if you want to see yung value in him putting up a fight despite the L's, diba? So you have that as well. Itong division talaga ni na Brody, Garcia, Andrade, Bryan, Kingston, and Claudio. This is really the better division for me. Like, apologies to Mox and to Swerve, but their division just not as compelling.
Di ba sabi natin at the beginning the Gold League was much more compelling, and now that we're at near the end of the tournament, mas gusto natin yung Blue League.
But it's also because a lot of the people in the Gold League feel like afterthoughts. Even Jay White has become an afterthought, especially after how he was used last pay-per-view, diba? Yung pinag-e-effortan ni Tony Khan sa Gold League is really just Mox and Swerve at this point.
Yeah. But sa Blue League, like even Garcia, who's winless, has an actual story. Si Eddie Kingston, meron siyang comeback season.
Yeah.
He's technically not mathematically eliminated.
Yeah,
so I like that.
Yung pa, diba, sa Gold League, si Swerve saka si White na lang yung...
No, Swerve and Mox.
Yeah,
and Jay
may
White.
chance. Oh, sila na lang yung may chance, di ba? Si Mox, pasok na. Pero sa Blue League, everyone but Garcia still has a chance to make it to the semi. So that's how the Blue League has been more compelling to watch than the Gold League.
It's also because Collision gets yung cold open promos that they actually do get a chance to flesh themselves out and how they're feeling and how they're thinking going into the night. So talagang pabor sa kanila yung format ng episode.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Hindi ko siya na-consider until you pointed it out.
Yeah.
That's a very good observation na the opening promos of Collision lend themselves to being able to flesh out these stories even better. So there.
Kawawa ka talaga pag nasa Dynamite ka lang.
Yeah. Sorry, Jay Lethal. Sorry, Mark Briscoe. All right, that's going to do it for our Picks of the Week episode. If you want to get your picks in or if you want to let us know what your favorite parts of the week in wrestling were, then you know where to find us. It is at Wrestling2XPod on Twitter and on TikTok. Don't forget yung LA Night Christmas raffle natin hanggang Thursday na lang. All right, so you have a chance to win the authentic LA Night gift pack from WWEshop.com by going to tinyurl.com/WWP Christmas raffle for as low as 100 pesos per ticket. You can also join us on the live stream on Thursday, December 21. We will be live from the Pod Network, yun yung mini Christmas party natin sa Wrestling Podcast with a virtual Emil hanging from the side. Right? Yes. Don't forget to follow us on social media individually. It is at EML_Meister, at Monday Night Rowan, at Chino Supersize, at Rois War, and at _Stan C. Thank you very much to babyface producer Jasper and everyone over at TPN for all of the work that they do behind the scenes. And thank you to every listener and subscriber of the pod for continuing to support the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. We'll catch you on Thursday for the live stream. On behalf of Romoran and Emil Nate, my name is Stan C, saying thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Later, weirdos.
Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity,